Consideration provided by...
Bring it on! Come on!
Pack all the things.
Come on!
Fly on your schedule.
Come on!
Reward yourself and the girls whenever.
Come on!
Stay or go when you wanna. It's the flexibility you want. Only at Southwest.
All right, before we go, big news out of late night. Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and Seth Meyers will all return to their shows October 2nd. And John Oliver, he'll be back a day earlier, October 1st.
Meanwhile, Drew Carey is rescinding his offer of free food to all the writers who are striking because the strike's over. Take care, y'all.
So about a week into the strike, Drew reached out to us and said, would it be okay if I offered free meals at Swingers? We saw about 8.
Happening now.
A child death case we told you about last month, we have an update on. As there's movement in the case, we'll explain coming up.
The big headline right now, pop-up thunderstorms across parts of our area, a deep dive into authority radar, and who's getting lucky in just a bit.
The Spurs' brand new state-of-the-art practice facility is just about complete. Today, the Spurs gave the media a sneak peek inside. The news at 5 starts right now.
Well, people say good things come to those who wait. A lot of us have been waiting. Rain is in the area.
Even thunder announcing its impending arrival, and there are some slick spots out there on the roads. Adam Caskey keeping an eye on where more rain could fall.
Yeah, and right now all the excitement is over for San Antonio. Those thunderstorms dissipated and fizzled out over the past 30 minutes. But we did have some nice heavy rainfall, good soaking rain. You see the last little bit of it here that just dissipated right before making it to downtown. This is all north of Highway 90. Now, when we look at the 12-hour rainfall accumulations on authority radar, some neighborhoods really fortunate, especially where you see these greens here, Timberwood Park, Bulverde, and even down toward Ingram Park Mall and Leon Valley. The darker green indicating radar estimates of an inch or more. Take a look at this. Right near Holmes High School in Ingram Park Mall, 1.2 inches. Get up into parts of Leon Valley, 0.8, 0.5. That was nice to see. You go a little farther to the north, another little area where the downpours really hit. This is on the north side, just near Camp Bullis, and on the south end of Camp Bullis, 1604 and Bitters. And we're talking over an inch estimated by Doppler radar in some of these neighborhoods near Chavano Park and even Rogers Ranch. So that's good to see. There's still some ongoing rain elsewhere across our area. We'll take a closer look at that coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Adam. New at 5, there are big questions in the case of a 12-year-old boy who died in what investigators believe was a case of child abuse. Danilo Coles died in February of 2022. His own father and stepmother are accused in this case.
But it wasn't until just this week that the boy's father was finally indicted. KSAT now questioning those with the job of prosecuting crime, why it's taken more than a year for this case to proceed. Erica Hernandez with why they say a tech issue is to blame, but only after we started asking questions.
It's a horrific case of child abuse. 12-year-old Danilo Coles died from injuries allegedly inflicted by his father and stepmother on February 5th, 2022. Investigators say the couple made him hold heavy boxes for long periods of time and severely whipped him. On August 28th, KSAT questioned why the district attorney's office had yet to get an indictment in this case.
It's taken the medical examiners quite a bit of time due to some lab testing issues, but we're still waiting on that final report.
That was First Assistant District Attorney Christian Henriksen. A few weeks later, Bexar County responded on behalf of the medical examiner's office saying, quote, the medical examiner's office and the district attorney's office exchanged documents using a software solution specific to the criminal justice system. Log entries in that system indicate that the district attorney's office received the autopsy report earlier this year. We reached out immediately after receiving that statement, asking the district attorney's office to respond. KSAT was told Henriksen didn't have time for an interview, but the DA's office sent a written response saying in part, The cooperative relationship between our office and the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office has enabled us to discover technical issues in the sharing of information. These issues were recently highlighted in a case involving the death of Danilo Coles, where an autopsy report provided by the Medical Examiner's Office as requested did not timely make its way into the files of each defendant in the case. Why wasn't this error noticed earlier this year when the report was submitted? Is this technical issue affecting other cases as well? We asked those follow-up questions and haven't heard back.
The case did see movement this week. Derek Coles was indicted on Monday, but not the 12-year-old's stepmother, Capri Cheatham, who is the co-defendant in this case. And that was something that Christian Henriksen said would happen as well.
We fully intend to present both cases to the grand jury.
Right now, Capri Cheatham is still free and not facing any charges. A trial date for Derek Coles has not yet been set. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Of course, we'll continue to follow that case. Also new at 5, a woman fighting for her life right now after police say she was shot in the head underneath an overpass. That shooting happened this afternoon a little after 3 o'clock at Poplar and I-10 West. According to SAPD, they found a woman believed to be in her 30s shot in the head. They say she was found by herself. She was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Investigators are still on the scene gathering evidence and working some leads to find out what led up to that shooting. Police say the area where she was found is an area where a number of the city's homeless gather.
A rooftop display that caught the eye of a crowd downtown and the police, causing so big of a commotion this morning that police had to shut down a major road. That closure forced drivers to find another way around during a morning commute. It happened in the 100 block of East Travis, where a man was spotted on the top of this rooftop, the Milam building, appearing to have no clothes on. Police say calls began coming in at around 8 o'clock in the morning from people who were watching this. The historic building is vacant. It has no electricity, so officers had a tough time getting to the man.
Elevators are turned off, all the electricity's off, so there's no AC in there, and it's 21 flights of stairs. Well, actually more flights of stairs than that, but we had to climb all of them to get there.
Now that they got the man down, police say that he'll be looked at by a doctor. Streets were reopened about an hour after he was taken into custody.
The September Workforce Development Month and Goodwill held a career fair for the community to help find those in need of a job. At the Second Baptist Community Center, they hosted a mega career fair where more than 45 businesses were looking to fill about 2,500 open positions. Most of the jobs offered start at $15 an hour, with interviews conducted on site.
We specialize in workforce development, so we want the community to know all the services that we can offer them.
The job fair was put on by Goodwill's Good Careers Center, which provides free, tailored career services to anyone seeking employment. More than 200 drugs now facing a critical nationwide shortage, including penicillin and amoxicillin, two widely used antibiotics. But the shortages that are proving to be the most devastating are those used to treat cancers.
So right now there are 14 life-saving cancer drugs facing shortages, and 3 of those drugs could mean the difference between life and death, leaving doctors with some very difficult decisions to make.
Methotrexate, cisplatin, and carboplatin. They're more than just the go-to drugs for a number of different cancers for thousands of patients. They are the hope for a cure. But more than 90% of cancer centers in the U.S. have reported critical shortages of these drugs, and some have already run out.
Cancer patients have a lot on their minds. The last thing that they should need to worry about is, can they get the medication that they need?
Doctors are resorting to lower the doses, to ration the drugs, or switching patients to a different drug with more severe side effects. And some doctors will have to decide which patients to prioritize, such as those in the early stages of the disease and who have the highest chance of survival.
We always encourage patients to advocate for themselves. And specifically, I hear my medication is on shortage. Am I going to be able to get it?
Patients are also encouraged to regularly check the drug shortage database on FDA.gov. If one of your medications is getting critically low, the sooner you and your doctor can come up with an alternative treatment plan, the better.
Now, one of the main reasons for the shortage has to do with a factory in India that failed an FDA inspection. That factory made 50% of those cancer drugs, and there is no word on when it's going to be back up and running.
Happening tonight, the second Republican presidential debate taking place at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley, California. Former president and current frontrunner Donald Trump, however, won't be there. He's instead making a campaign stop tonight in Michigan. The other 7 candidates taking the stage tonight: former Vice President Mike Pence, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. This debate could be critical in determining which candidates will actually move forward in this race.
You may remember Travis King. He's the U.S. soldier who ran across the border from South Korea into the communist north over the summer. Well, he's back in custody. Federal officials saying it took an international effort to get him back into the country.
According to reports from ABC News, King expected to arrive at Fort Sam Houston right here in San Antonio. ABC's Rena Roy has more on his release from North Korea.
American Army soldier Travis King is back in U.S. custody, and officials say he appears to be in good health and spirits after being held in communist North Korea for months.
The United States has secured the return of Private Travis King from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
His return comes after this moment back in July. King reportedly pictured here dressed in black moments before authorities say he deliberately ran across the demilitarized zone, or DMZ, which separates the border between North and South Korea, immediately taken into North Korean custody. Now, months later, North Korean leaders releasing him, sending him to China with the help of Swedish officials, where he boarded a U.S. plane back home. U.S. officials praising the months-long international teamwork that went into securing King's release.
We're very thankful for the government of Sweden for their work as the protecting power that they did. We are open to diplomacy with North Korea. We would welcome diplomacy with North Korea, but I don't know that I would take from this that it heralds some breakthrough in diplomatic relations.
The 23-year-old Army private had been serving time in a South Korean jail following an assault conviction. After having completed his jail sentence, he was meant to be sent back to the U.S., set to face consequences from military officials for that jail time. Instead, officials say he left the airport in South Korea before illegally crossing into North Korea. King is expected to eventually go through the U.S. reintegration process. It's unclear if he'll face any further consequences. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Check out traffic right now. Let's go to 410 and Blanco, and you can see there's a backup there. I believe that's eastbound we're looking, so it's the westbound lanes that are coming towards us. And you can see on both the access road and 410 itself, there's a big backup. No major accidents. We're just not exactly sure why it's backed up.
Straight ahead on KSAT 12 News at 5. The country's oil reserve has taken a major hit. Why the stockpile is at its lowest level in 4 decades.
Kia and Hyundai vehicle owners, you may want to park away from your house or other buildings. A possible fire threat now triggering a recall for some of those vehicles.
I'm Myra Arthur, and here's what we're working on for the news at 6 o'clock today. Haven for Hope, the city's largest homeless shelter, is at capacity. We speak with a local family staying at Haven right now about what they're experiencing firsthand. Civic Park at Hemisphere is now open to the public. It's all part of a major transformation in this area of downtown. We'll show you the sights and the sounds and what to expect coming up this fall. Plus, a local artist gets the visit of a lifetime after painting a mural on the city's east side. What it was like meeting that guy you saw right there, the Spurs' own Wemby. That's coming up today on the news at 6.
Things seem to be a thing now. Thank you, Myra. Is safety regulators advising people who own a Kia or a Hyundai vehicle to check for recalls? That's because several models are reportedly catching fire even when the engine's turned off. As a result, the Korean automakers are suggesting people park away from buildings for this reason. The recalls cover more than 3 million cars and SUVs from 2010 to 2017. The companies say they've received reports of fires, but not of injuries or deaths. Owners can go to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website. That's NHTSA.gov state.gov/recalls. You can also key in your 17-digit VIN number to see if your vehicle is affected.
For the first time in 40 years, America's emergency oil stockpile is at its lowest level. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve down by about 270 million barrels over the last 2 years. It hasn't been this low since August of 1983. The Biden administration significantly drained the stockpile when prices were soaring years ago. Then he had to scrap plans to replenish buying oil from Russia because of the Ukraine invasion.
Take a live look outside right now. 85 degrees out there, rain-cooled degrees. I'm guessing, Adam.
Yeah, we still made it well into the 90s before that rain-cooled air moved in, and it was a nice, glorious sight to have the heavy rainfall and even some small, non-damaging hail in parts of our area. The rain has come to an end in San Antonio. We talked about that earlier. This is all over with. The outflow boundary has pushed southward. Cooling breeze on the south side as a result. Unfortunately, the rain just confined to the north side of San Antonio and even up into Bulverde. You look off to the east, we have a few pockets of heavy rain, very isolated in nature. But what we're watching between Seguin and Floresville are these outflow boundaries that are coming together. So Lavernia, Stockdale, Sutherland Springs, you may be up next for a heavy downpour, because these green lines you see here, those little faint lines coming together, when they collide, they cause some rising motion in the air, and that can lead to new thunderstorm development. Even around Hallettsville, we had some pockets of heavy rainfall, which have now come to an end. DeWitt County getting in on some of those brief showers. Most of this pretty brief splash and dash, but as I showed you, the potential for an inch or even slightly more of rainfall, depending on how long it lasts in your area. Switching radar sites, we'll get a closer look to locations off to the west, and it's nice to see some heavy activity Edwards County into Kinney County, and this is all headed toward Brackettville as we speak and in and around Uvalde. Let's take a look at some of the rainfall totals on Authority radar off to the west, and especially Edwards County, and this is a very drought-stricken part of our area. Check this out. Look at these yellow areas in southwestern Edwards County. This is southwest of Rock Springs. Radar estimates there of 3.1 inches, and that is, just to give you an idea, 24 miles southwest of Rock Springs. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll take a closer look at some of the rainfall totals around San Antonio again, and especially then just north of town. And we actually had a little bit of hail. This is on KSAT Connect. Seaboyd 6 says, we'll take it. Hail, but not damaging hail. A lot of potted plants out there, and it looks like those leaves are actually A-OK, but we did have some of that hail bouncing around. I think that was taken close to Camp Bullis from that heavy cell on the south end of Camp Bullis. Here's a big picture, some dirty flow, some energy up above us within this northwesterly flow aloft that's helping to stir up these showers and thunderstorms. We like this, and that just means some embedded little impulses of energy within the flow. Nothing too organized, nothing big. It's just kind of a messy flow aloft that helps to develop this. However, the upper level high, the big blue H, that's going to be settling back in. And that's going to put an end to our rain chances. I'm hanging on to a 10% chance for tomorrow. 10%. It's possible. Just a couple of them popping up, but nothing like what we had today. Nice time lapse here from the airport, our camera. The airport only got a trace of rain, but as I showed you, other neighborhoods picked up a little more than an inch. Another rundown coming up at 6 o'clock of those rain totals. 96, that was our high today. The average being 88, the record 102. You can really tell where we've had rain. Rock Springs, 70. Kerrville, 80 degrees, or even just the outflow boundaries. Gonzales, 82. Meanwhile, Carrizo Springs at 99. 94 Stinson area airport on the south side. 87 Uvalde. 82 Los Maples, but 90 in Bandera. You can see the difference here. Some rain, outflow boundaries, and even clouds. Through this evening, temperatures falling through the 80s. Rain coming to an end by 8, 9 o'clock. So I think it's over with in San Antonio. Outlying areas that still have some, once we lose that daytime heating and the sun, should come to an end. 74 in the morning tomorrow, 96 by the afternoon, a mixture of sun and clouds. 96 in Devine and Bandera, Sabinal 94, Floresville, Nixon 97 tomorrow. And then just a lot of sunshine, quiet weather with similar temperatures, highs in the low to mid 90s thereafter.
Ooh, thank you, Adam.
All right, the Spurs showing off their new place to practice.
Is it called The Rock?
It's at the Rock.
At the Rock.
Lock
At
and
the whole
Terror.
development.
Yeah, the Rock and Lock
shopping
and
and
Terror.
everything's the Rock.
And here's the math that I like, okay? So their facility off Huebner opened in 2002.
Right.
So 21 years later, they have a new one. 21. Just makes sense, right? So the Spurs' new training center is the Victory Capital Performance Center. We're going to take you inside. Plus, in college football, Jeff Traylor hopes the past predicts the Roadrunners' future when it comes to conference play. Coming up. Today, the media got the tour of the Victory Capital Performance Center, the new state-of-the-art practice facility for the San Antonio Spurs. With training camp starting next week, this was a great chance for us to see the Spurs' new practice center, ahead of us going there pretty much on a weekly basis during the regular season to get practice video and player sound. So just call it media orientation. What an exciting time this is for the Spurs, right? They add Wemby to an already awesome core young players, and now they have a brand new practice facility that many had a say in when it comes to the design.
We talked to every stakeholder in this building, but it was years in the making, and it wasn't just one voice that contributed, but it was all the voices. Again, the ability to take care of our people and making sure that our performance staff had the same amenities that our coaching staff had, making sure that we had the ability to put the best people around our players and keep and retain them was the driving force. But I will say this, that we spent hours and hours and hours talking to everybody in this building and how they interacted, and whether that was the intern, whether it was our building ops, whether it was our physiotherapists, our coaches, and even some players. It was a big effort.
There's a little coffee shop as well, inspired by the Spurs coffee gang that included Manu, Patty Mills, and Boris Diaw, just to name a few. The UTSA Roadrunners are enjoying a bye week before they start American Athletic Conference play at the Temple Owls. The Roadrunners hit their off week with a 1-3 record this season. They lost to Houston in week 1, 17-14, beat Texas State in week 2, 20-13. Then they lost to Army 37-29 and number 23 Tennessee 45-15 in back-to-back weeks. But sitting 1-3 is not the end of the world.
Only one time we've ever had a winning record going into conference. So, unfortunately, we're pretty good at being bad in non-conference, and we're pretty good at being good in conference. And we've got to be able to really evaluate ourselves as a coaching staff first, and as players next, and make the necessary adjustments to get going in Temple.
UTSA will play at Temple Saturday, October the 7th at 1 p.m. Now, the Owls are playing at Tulsa tomorrow night before they host the Roadrunners.
All right, I have a question about the Spurs practice place. The coffee gang place, is that open to the public?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, you have to know somebody.
I think you have to know someone, to get in.
Are you one of the stakeholders?
I am not. No, I wish.
I thought I knew somebody.
No, sorry.
We'll be right.
If Larry can't get you in, I don't think anybody can. Here's a look at the radar. Actually, I want to start with 410 and Crossroads right here. And you can see a big backup in both directions. And you might also notice the exit ramp at the top. That's from I-10 to 410, also backed up. Just the give and take on a busy afternoon. Adam.
Now let's get to the radar over the past couple of hours. Oh, look at that glorious rain coming in from the far north side. Now it's all dissipated and fizzled out over San Antonio. Still some showers outside of town. Those will be coming to an end shortly after sunset.